And the recording, it has begun. Ha ha! Ha ha! Getting our giggles in straight off the bat, I see.
Anyone would
Hello,
think that we're up to
wonderful.
mischief.
Indeed. And they would know us so very well. Hello, everyone. And welcome to this Toonkind FPS, Candleglow. I am your humble one of your members here today, Vwild, with my monkey as in the title card, and joining me is the fabulous, splendiferous, wonderful person with the amazing talents in art, story, and everything in between, my bestie. Get loved, idiot.
Oh dear. Hello everybody. I'm Whis. And I bring one Korvits Allhallows back to the foreground. Oh, I love this pumpkin.
It's great. We all love this pumpkin so much.
Oh dear. So, it is a nice time. Timeline-wise, we are coming in after the your adventure in the desert, I assume.
Yeah, after Ruined Recollections, probably after an interaction or so that have come back afterwards, because Matthias is going to have gone through a lot. We're going to get that guy, stable.
Oh gosh. Wow.
In the he's going to have had a lot of revelations and stuff, and sometimes you need a little sit down before your world gets upheaved. Too!
Yeah, fair. Very, very fair. So for people watching this on YouTube later, keep an eye out for that. But this happens after that. So I suppose we will open on Lynn. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what Lynn's up to? How is her evening?
Well, we rolled her die, and she got, a 99 and an 88. She's not at the best of sleep at the moment, but hey, when you can't sleep, you either go Raven mode, or you go out and you have a little walk, and you clear your head, and you go, these thoughts are not my own. And hey, she has been meaning to do certain things recently. For one, investigating that fountain. She's got ideas on that fountain, and she's gonna figure out how it works. She's got hypotheses.
Oh, well, okay, cool. I may actually need my notes for that, so carry on. Alright, so Lynn's headed to the fountain in the town square. Alright.
She will have, I want to say she will have let Kara take her whatever route she pleases. At the same time, perhaps, let the monkey have a break with the knees at the moment.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
I mean, on the plus side, she is using a new support aid on that front. So she's doing good for herself. But she has just made her way out there to that bit. And is probably just propping herself up and just looking in. Because she studies. She do the little study. She has thoughts. But many thoughts all of the time. This brain doesn't stop going burr.
Yeah, well, when your brain doesn't stop going burr, like you've got a head full of bees, sometimes it's very good to get your bees something else to focus on. So I don't have any problems with this approach.
It's the bees are Craigery. Lynn's got the network of boards like a spider web and the constant breeze in her head. It's fantastic. It's a hurricane. It's a tornado. It never stops. Ever.
Fair enough.
She is a nightmare for telepaths.
Probably for the best. Gosh. Okay, so you've gone on your little walk to try and clear your head, and you end up at the fountain in the town square. And just for reference, I will stick the picture of it in there, and also in OBS for everybody to perceive with their eyeballs.
A Hergle Blurgle.
A
Listen, that's what noise fountains make. In my head, that's what they are. The hurgle blurgle.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, it's this. The water that comes out of this is kind of green-ish. Um, but yeah, it's the same as it's always ever been, with its sort of pseudo serpentine kind of dragon winged forktail looking vibe. What would you like? What would you like to do to inspect?
She was informed by Korvits that it was special in some way.
Mm-hmm.
She's been around it enough to know that it's probably not to do with the brickwork or anything. And it's safe for the guppies to be in. She knows that much because she has visited Philippe. They have fun incidents and that sort of stuff. And she does listen to when he happily talks about, his kids. Because they're parents, Your Honor. They're both parents with anxiety, and it's nice. But she's figured out enough that this is something safe for things to be in. At the same time, there might be something within it that works like a mechanism or something, because Korvits is definitely up to something with this thing, and she thinks it might be a mechanism, might be trap or something. Maybe I don't know, maybe it just shoots even higher. Maybe there's an ornate display. Maybe there's something under it. I don't know.
All right. Well, I suppose we can perceive it, look at it close. How would you like to go about it?
I'm gonna roll investigation for it, because even though her perception is higher, methinks it's more fitting to go monkey investigate. Just actively looking to see if there's any points of discoloration that seem abnormal, like in animation where there's that one cell that might be different to everything else.
Yes, though this is Hausen style architecture, so you don't really get that. But yes, go on anyway.
Indeed. She knows how to find it in clay as well. Ooh! That's nice. That's cool. That is off to a great first roll of the evening.
Nice, 27. All right, fantastic. Okay, so you're looking at the sculpture-y bit where the water comes out? All right, cool. So with a 27, what you're getting is the carving, the statue, and the stonework pool. It's stone. It's proper good stone. The creature itself is intricately hand-carved, you think. And it has a scale texture that's been carved into its back, and the pattern of it is a little bit faint, sort of near its head, like someone has touched it with their hand over and over and over again. Like those sculptures made out of I think copper or bronze or something, like of a dog, and then someone's pat it and it's worn there differently. Yeah. Kind of like that, except it's the carving itself that's kind of been worn down. And it has three little, so not quite horns, little stubs on the top of its head. They're round. And you can see 3 different swooshy patterns on top. Actually, no. 3? Nope. 3 the same. 3 that are the same on top. And I actually have a picture of the pattern that I can show you. This one. And if it wasn't for the fact that there's 3 of them that looks exactly the same, you would have just thought it was a crack or a squiggle in the stone.
Fascinating.
And the other thing that I'll give you as well is that it's a little bit weird. Like, there's no pipework. Where does the water even come from? Where does it go? What the hell?
Where does it come from? Where does it go? did you come from? There's no Cotton Eye Joe. Gods. That has intrigued her, especially as, hey, this is something I can focus on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how high up is it? Because I bless Lynn is short as hell.
She is going to have to climb it. It looks like it's. Oh, I'm just trying to picture this because I don't think in feet. It would kind of come up to Korvits' chest or so if he was standing on the edge of the pool.
And seeing Lynn is like what, knee height at best.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? One thing that Lynn does is just go, modern problems require modern solutions. Cast Unseen Servant. And she's going to stand on that so that she doesn't have so specifically doesn't have to climb on this thing, because perhaps not straight away. Like, you can tell that it's been rubbed smooth. You can tell it's okay to touch at the same time. A, sketchy go sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
And B, she has some dignity sometimes.
Sometimes. All right.
Or she just floats. She's just floating.
Sure. Oh, that's fine. All right. So, what are you going to take a closer look at?
Probably a closer look at the marking itself. Just see if she can trace it, see if there's any sort of slide to it, any sort of give.
All right. So you reach out and you're touching the three little nubby horns, and you can feel it. The horn itself actually moves slightly under your finger as you touch it, as if it were a turn wheel, like on a combination lock.
Oh, picking fantastic! I always love these enrichment puzzles. And so she is just going to very calmly just be there and just turn it slightly. Just turn the first one. She's figured it might be like stepping stone sort of thing, because there's 3 bumps and there's 3 squiggles within the thing. She's going to turn and see how they react, how they interact, sort of thing.
Okay. So you start turning one of them. You can just turn it with your thumb. There's not a lot of resistance there at all. And there is, as you turn it, you can see a slightly different squiggle. That looks like, when it loads, there it goes, that.
Oh, ain't that intriguing? Alright. Ain't you curious?
And there is a gurgle from inside the fountain. And then the water sort of changes a bit. And then instead of being this murky green but still quite see-through water, it goes with this really thick gloopy mud that just goes blub 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 blub.
Okay, turning that. Kara, in my defense, I was left unsupervised.
Are you turning it back the way it was, or in the other
I
direction?
think she's gonna turn it in the other direction.
All right, cool. You keep turning it.
This no, this is just making her more curious at the same time. Kara, I'm sorry. I will help prestige this thing away later.
You keep turning it, and you get a different looking picture on it that looks like that. And there's another sort of rumble, gurgle from the fountain, and then there's a and it kind of turns from mud into dust, and now it's just this constant stream of dust coming out of its mouth, kind of putting you in mind of the desert, actually. It's just got all this dust.
I love this. This is great. I like dust. I like sand. This is brilliant. This is fucking fantastic. I don't think you like this, but I do. And she is like outright saying this under her breath as she's working, just studying and watching, just intrigue. Intrigue. Why has she never seen this before? It's intriguing.
She's never looked.
I've looked.
Is she gonna keep turning it? Yeah.
Indeed. You honestly, if the answer is going to be yes.
So there's a fourth.
Fire. Please don't be fire. Please don't be fire. I don't want to get singed.
Let's see. What are you set to? That and that. Okay, so there's another rattle from inside the fountain, and then there's this. It's not quite the same sort of wheeze. It's more of a hiss, I suppose, and the dust turns to steam.
Oh, thank pick! Yay! Not fire. I like fire. I didn't think that would be a great thing to come out the fountain at this time of night.
So, just from looking at them, it's a little bit of, and the reactions, it's a little bit obvious that you have a water, fire, wind, earth looking thing here at the moment. So now you have it currently set to 1 fire and 2 water.
Oh, that changed. No, wrong genre. But 1 water, 2 fire, that sort of thing. She looks at it and then she just goes, I'm going to turn it all to fire. I think this is a bad idea. Universe, stop me. Listen, if something doesn't come down and tell you what the hell are you doing, no. And hey, fire is symbolistic. Yeah.
Okay. You turn all 3 dials to the fire symbol, and there is, as if you were standing next to a small dragon, a huge, hot plume of fire that just goes out of the mouth. Like, the statue itself isn't moving, so, like, you're out of the stream of it. But it is now breathing a constant stream of fire into the basin of this fountain, which, when you look at it, actually doesn't still contain mud or dust or anything. It all seemed to drain away when you changed the settings on the fountain. But now it is just breathing fire.
Yeah, Lynn stares at that and just goes, I regret nothing. No one stopped me. I regret nothing. Honestly, I should have seen this. I did see this coming.
I'm just going to roll something now.
I will.
Okay, great. There is no possible way that Lynn can beat that. We're starting off so strong. No, that's not what I was plussing. God damn it, I hit enter too quick.
God almighty.
That's
yeah, no.
number.
Yeah. But she is just standing there just going, okay. And I will just say here and now, she did check around her surroundings before she started playing, just for the, I don't want to do something that, shoots fire everywhere. Oh my god, everyone's on fire.
Yeah.
She's smarter than that.
Well, the good news is that it does, it is contained within the fountain. So just like when it was pouring water, the fire doesn't sort of spill over the edges of the pool. It stays inside the pool. So it was obviously very carefully designed for this. But as Lynn is sort of looking at the result of her actions, suddenly it stops. And instead of fire, then there's this sort of kind of noise, and a puff of confetti comes out of its mouth. And then...
So, you decided to check it out after all.
And she just straight up grins. She doesn't look away, not straight away. She's just looking at the mouth. Then she does just laugh and just go, I couldn't help myself. I like my enrichment.
Korvits is standing on the edge of the pool, kind of leaning on it, and his hand is on the dials. And you've got no idea how he got there. Because he rolled a nat 20 on his stealth with a plus 24. So he just materialized. And he's just grinning at her.
I'm actually surprised it took you this long. I wasn't expecting you to go for all fire settings right off the bat, though.
What can I say? I know you're someone who's interested in fire. But it might be an interesting action.
Well, that's true. That's very true. And what inspired you to come and look at it today?
Well, just getting out and about, stretching the legs, giving the mind a little exercise.
I am going to roll him an insight while he also changes the fountain back to water. That is not very good on the dice, but that's fine. Because your insight is stupidly high.
Alright, with that. You're getting to know Lynn recently. So you can pick up on some of the tells. Not all of them, because quite frankly, this monkey does have so many facets. Even to those who know her, she can be confusing as hell. But you can see that there is more to her words, especially the way that she seems to be favoring one leg over the other as she's floating. And the way there is a tightness to the corner of her eyes that you've perhaps seen quite frequently with Jacques.
Okay.
You do notice another thing, that in her right hand, which she's got, she's got something in it. She's got a cane that she is holding that's new. That she's got halfway propped on this, what you assume is an unseen servant, just propped on it, and you can see a pumpkin head in that grip that she's got. And she just turns her gaze towards you and smiles.
Okay. What he's gonna do is, being a Hausen, he's very familiar with unseen servants, so he's not even that surprised. But he's just gonna sort of put his hand where the unseen servant is and just sort of pick Lynn up and then gently put her down on the edge of the fountain and then sit down next to her.
The cane is new. I'm a little bit flattered by your choice of decoration on top there.
Well, believe it or not, I'd had the idea in mind before I met you, but I'm fond of it. It's been something I've been planning on getting for a while, but got some active encouragement on it. I'm quite fond of it.
You're feeling a little rough around the edges tonight, huh?
And her smile does take on a slight edge to it, just a faint one. Then she does just look and go, not as bad as it could be. I've had worse, but yeah.
So, I wasn't quite sure before, but this is a chronic, not going away kind of affliction, isn't it?
I did not catch that, I'm sorry.
This is a chronic, not going away kind of affliction, ain't it?
Ah, yeah. I. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's probably going to develop with time, but I'm taking steps to combat what I can. Braces, supplements, all that sort of thing. I won't bore you with the details.
Then, you're my friend. It's not that boring. I care about you be looking after yourself. So, if nothing else, I'm glad that you've got a mobility aid.
Thank you. And, uh, take a bit after Jacques on this front now, eh?
It does clash a little with your sweater and skirt combo, but very fancy otherwise.
Eh, when I go, I can go full fancy if I so choose. Some stage I might add more to the dress, or not dress, but skirt. I wear a lot of layers, but might do up the skirt a bit more, get a little more fancy.
I
Yeah,
mean, we can always give you some fashion pointers from ye old, if that's of interest. I mean, you are, if I am understanding correctly, a viscountess. So it would be more than appropriate for you to dress to your station, Lynn.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Although, don't want to go full pomp and circumstance. I like going back to my roots just a tad, and not going full fancy. It's some people I know, they've experienced far too much full fancy in their lifetimes. I like being domestic, just a tad.
Oh, well, there's a time and place for everything. I got away with wearing this ensemble, which, look, it's got fraying, there's some stitch repairs. I'm pretty sure there's still some scorch marks that never really went away after the windmill incident. But I got away with it because it's kind of just me. This is the Scarecrow Pumpkin King of Imatus. This is just what he looks like. You couldn't expect to put me in proper, in quotes, royalty poofery. That would just be silly. But
I'm now
I do
imagining
have
it.
I did have a cape. I did have a cape for traveling because people liked to see royalty in a cape. Hated that thing, but I had it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It
How
was
many
heavy and
incidents
it
did it
covered
get?
up my wings. Garbage.
Oh no. Oh, it's covering up the wings. That sucks. How many incidents did it get into where you just happened to misplace it?
I think there was a case of, oh no, did I put it in Jacques' luggage by mistake? Oh, that's a shame. So Jacques may still have it.
Oh, pancake. I know those sorts of experiences.
So,
Trying to.
all this, were you designed this way or did something happen?
Rather a further question, eh?
He just kind of gives a little bit of a shrug at that.
But we're both blunt people, I'll give you that. No, it wasn't originally like this. It was events. Particular events.
Something or someone?
Korvits, with your insight you've got, you do see her ever so slightly shiver.
Me just sitting here going, Korvits, when we're talking about this particular entity, that question doesn't mean anything, does it? Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. Don't have to tell me. There's obviously a complicated set of emotions attached to that question. Right? Fine.
I, but we can circle back to it, perhaps. Right now, how are you today? How's your design settling and everything, eh?
I'm settled, I think. Sort of haven't really noticed anything changing, which is good. Since that first tea was a little, wobbly. Yeah, as you might expect, given the circumstances I was in. But I'm fine. Yeah, actually, feeling pretty good. Thanks, by the way, for the recommendation to Philippe. I have so much fun with those kids. They're a hoot. Even though they haven't got legs yet. They're hilarious.
Oh, pick and fantastic. I'm glad to hear. I thought you guys would make a good connection between you. Glad to be proven right.
It was
There.
a roller coaster of emotions for the poor fellow, though. I am a lot.
Yeah, Philippe, bless his socks. He's a very anxious guy, but honestly, real sweet. Real nice guy.
And it's given me the proper motivation to fix up the clubhouse, and I've got something to do with my time. I mean, between the guppies and then hanging out with Gibbs, I've got maybe 40% of my time accounted for, which is a hell of a lot more than I was before.
Freaking fantastic. And you've also got other friends, haven't you? Or at least one that I know of.
You're gonna have to be more specific there. I mean, I'm
Oh,
very friendly. I'm very friendly, so.
Oh, that you are. It's great. It's wonderful to see. I get quite a good view of certain things, including you having a flying race with someone I'm vaguely familiar with from Yeast, and
Oh,
Ye-
right.
and shit.
Yes, Phoenix, yeah. Yes, I think we could consider ourselves friends. I mean, I really should go visit her and her sister in the East. I have been a little hesitant to leave town, but now that I'm kind of getting a handle on things, I probably could explore a bit. I think I've been to East exactly once, so it's probably very different to what I remember. Though, there's such a big gap.
Oh, everything's always changing, even to someone like me who's been all over it, and fairly recently on that front. Yeah, but it'll be good for you, I'm sure. East is quite nice, from what little I've seen of it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it being quite good. I mean, they weren't direct neighbors, but we were on friendly terms anyway. But no, that could be fun. She was saying that one of her folks is around a fair bit. What did she say his name was? Hugh? I think Hugh?
Hi,
Something
Hugh,
like that. Oh,
my nephew.
Oh! Well, ain't it a small little world? Oh, okay. Well, great, cool. Yeah. She did say that he hung out here a bit, which is why she decided to come for a visit, which is fine. Not every day you just have a god walk into town and be like, I'm bored, but probably for the best that that's not every day, thinking about it.
I mean, true. I had enough well, you do have a few gods come through here every now and then. Some better than others. My desk. But yeah, but then again, I mean, we have got a god who's here 24/7, haven't we?
There is a pause, and he just sort of stiffens a bit and then looks a bit sheepish.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Funny that.
And you just see the look on her face. She'd said it so casually as she'd like planted her cane, given her legs a little stretchy as she was looking out. And then she's looking at you out of the corner of her eye with a smile.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about it. I mean, Jackson is Asclepius, no one gives knows, and I felt like Philippe probably should know this, and I meant to tell you earlier, but I just didn't quite get the opportunity. Yeah, surprise. I'm a god. Yeah. It still sounds so weird to say this, Lynn. Like, it's been a couple of months now since Aeon told me, and I'm just like, what the heck? It's still weird.
It's something to get used to. I get it. And don't worry, no hard feelings on my end. I figured it out pretty early on. It was when you were ready.
I don't think I'll ever be ready. I don't think I'll be over it. Like, but, you know, yes, we're still figuring it out. But I'm trying to just say it because I figure the more I say it, the less it will sound insane. So far, not worked. But I'm hoping it will eventually be this way. I feel like maybe some sort of announcement might be worthwhile doing, but at the same time, that sounds so damn pompous. Behold, Halloween, here's your god! Like, this sounds so... How self-important do you think you have to be in order to declare yourself a god, even if you are one? Like, I came out of nowhere for as far as most of town is concerned. I just appeared out of nowhere just before Halloween, and oh, by the way, I'm a god? This person who's been hanging around nonstop is a god? That sounds so crazy.
It's Anquil, bitch. Everything's crazy.
I suppose. But there is some limit. You gotta have these things make some sense, right? Surely.
Korvits. I have seen so much in my time. I've been around the block a few times. Trust me, that insanity doesn't hit the top 20.
That is more concerning than reassuring, actually.
I tend to get that a bit. I mean, protagonist. Unfortunate. High profile protagonist. I have been through so many adventures. I've seen so much shit.
Yeah, I've heard it's like that for high profile protags. It has a way of leaving its mark.
More ways than one.
Like on Gibbs. All of that you guys got put through. I'm still angry at Aeon about that.
It did what it thought was best.
Oh, I know. And I've already had my tantrum about it, but... This has not changed since before. I want to be able to protect people, especially the people who I care about, who are very close to me. Like, like Jacques and like Gibbs and like you. I want to be able to help. It still upsets me that I was not allowed to.
I know. I get that.
At least these days, no matter where I go or wherever Gibbs goes, Gibbs will always have me as backup. So, silver lining in all things.
Indeed. And she does reach out and just put her left hand on him, just like the reassuring hand on the arm or the knee or something, somewhere she can reach just comfortably. I get that. All of it. Genuinely. We're always trying. Hey. Gibbs is making a good walk, eh? And, I'll say.
Yeah. That was, an accident. We are not going to be making any, pacts or anything like that. By accident again. We're making a point of
And
it.
I'm sure the shrubbery shall thank you for it.
We did leave a mark on the landscape, yes. They were so sick. They were so sick. And then I don't think the pact made it any better, quite frankly. It just meant that instead of just throwing up, they threw a fucking eldritch blast. I looked it up afterwards. That shit's a cantrip. It could have just done it all peckin' day. Like, the fact that it stopped when it stopped feeling so queasy is a miracle. But it could have just kept constantly throwing up eldritch blasts all damn day. Ha! So, I think I've got my warlock quota. That's fine. we're gonna try and do things deliberately for, like, if we would try for, like, a cleric.
That would be nice. And I mean, clerics are different, right? There's a different way of going about it. Drawing through instead of drawing on, that sort of thing. From what I understand from Asclepius explaining it and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, understandably, I'm not a cleric, so I don't know that from personal experience on that end, but I was talking to Rena about it when she was here, and, well, yeah. I didn't really want to ask, hang on. I wanted a straight answer. And...
You're never going to get a straight answer out of that one. Time isn't linear for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like they remade themselves mid-conversation with me once. It was just mind-boggling what they have to deal with. But no, I was asking Rena about it. And it is different. It's kind of like offering it through a door and you have to open it from the other side to let it in. Which is good. It means I can't accidentally force punking on anybody in that aspect. But, yeah. It's a completely different kettle of fish to a warlock pact. I always thought warlock pacts had, like, words in them. Apparently, it's not a requirement.
It's less about words and more about consent. It's willingness. Unfortunately, that willingness can be forced on some people, but it's all about that consent, that opening of it, and then the forcing in or the relation on that front. From what I've seen.
Yeah. And, you know, it seems fine with things now that it's not sick. So that's cool, and it's nice. Because I can feel them. In here.
And he just puts a hand on his chest.
Well, that's pickin' fantastic. You hold that bond close. It's beautiful. What you two will have.
It's different. Different to what I had with Kara. Different to what I've got with Kindless. What this is with Gibbs, it's in the same sort of place. But it feels different. I don't hate it.
Well, that's pretty pickin' good.
And as long as it doesn't hate it either, then we're fine. I've briefly looked into whether or not you can undo a warlock pact, and you can. It's an undertaking, but you can do it. So, like, if they did hate it, we could, on the pact. But it seems pretty happy.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a few people change or break or switch, and as long as you're, on board with it, if it does decide to go on to different paths, if you're okay with letting it go, it should be pretty straightforward. When they don't want to let go, that's when things get dicey.
Yeah, I can imagine. But, my pact with Gibbs is, motivated by a particular set of emotions. It's not a business transaction. So, if they didn't want that flame in them, then that's their choice.
Good. Good. I'm glad they have that choice. I'm glad you both do.
I just wish that I'd done it sooner. Having that power as a backup would have been so good for them.
Perhaps.
Or really bad for all of you guys. I am uncertain.
Hey, it's from as far as I'm aware, and I will not go into details because you do not do that with the close family of someone from a case. Yeah, the entity they were up against, very much able to do a great deal. And what they did to Gibbs, let's just say the anti-magic field was powerful enough. We rather wouldn't have had it wanted anything else.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do me a little bit of a reassurance here? Is this particular entity no longer an issue?
No longer an issue, Fred.
That is a very particularly phrased sentence that is not doing the reassuring. It's still out there, that person.
I won't lie to you, but they are.
So
Don't-
other people are still in danger.
Aye. And before you do anything, don't go on this.
I'm not stupid. I don't have enough details. And I'm gathering you're not going to give me any, probably for my own sake.
Aye.
Damn
You
it.
can. If Kara lets you, you can see the war room, but it's big. Korvits. This is.
And let me guess, this little high-profile protagonist is neck deep in it.
Oh, utterly drowning in it. Well, not my first world-ending plot.
And he just
Just wrapped up.
he just does face palms. Just yeah.
Lynn, full on, just. She does scrub her face with her left hand, just rubs it over it, just in the, yeah, this is happening. Yeah.
Okay.
On
Cool.
On the plus side, the previous, plot line I was in, which had world-ending consequences, that wrapped up real nicely. We got best ending scenario, the volleyball heads in jail. Through another one, I'm pretty sure I don't entirely get how the ending of that one worked. We threw a horse tit off a dragon. That was fun. In imprisonment, and then I think they're in a library of another god. Honestly, I'm not going to look into that. I'm just happy that's over with. But turned out all great, and everyone's happy, and the continuity of it looks like a lot of people are going to get some happily evers.
Well, that's good. Still, as a matter of this one, and I can understand not wanting me to get involved just because having people involved in things, even if they're gods with a lot of power behind them, makes things complicated. I understand. I do a lot of reading and lived long enough to know how these plot lines can kind of get more complex the more people are involved in them. But I want to do something though. If you're in it, if Gibbs is stuck in this too, I want to help somehow.
There'll be ways.
I mean, I don't want to ask you to be a. Actually.
And he's got his hand on his chin, and he's just doing that really big think kind of very intense thinking pose and expression on his face. Like he's got this idea and he's just rotating it in his brain from every angle.
I'd like you to know that the moment there was the it's on one hand, Lynn's just like, oh, this is a big thinking moment. At the same time, it's like, oh God, it's a big idea. Okay. What's getting thrown on the table?
He's gonna do this big think for maybe a solid minute, and then he's going to straighten up a bit and look at Lynn.
Okay. Hear me out. If I can't be involved, if I can't be there, I can send a little bit of me with you. We could try.
I'm just going to say here and now, I don't want to be a warlock.
Not what I had in mind, actually. You've already got plenty of things going on, and warlock packs are weird. But, I was thinking you might make a pretty good cleric.
Roll me insight.
Sure can. Nice, Korvits.
Nice, 43. Okay. With that, you get a few things in this moment. The first thing you get, I'd say, let's work back, is you offering this cleric idea. She does seem intrigued. She does also seem not quite confused, but as though there's a hesitation there from something. And working back as well, with you saw it in her eyes when she looked at you, because she full on turned when you said taking a part of you with her, and there was, or her taking a part of you with her, the immediate latch on to I don't want to be a warlock, there was slight fear in her eyes. Easily buried, easily swept away. A blink and you'll miss it, but you did see it just for that split microsecond. And she does seem to be mulling it over. It is almost uncharacteristically quiet with the air she seems to have about her. Not a rejection, But you're used to seeing her quite full of a sense of vitality. And perhaps it's the pain, perhaps it's everything else, perhaps it's a little bit of exhaustion that's crept in just vaguely, but she does look a little old as she's mulling this over.
He's gonna take that in, and he's just gonna hold out a hand towards her.
My offer's here. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. And I'm not going to force you. But I really want to be able to help. And from what I've seen of clerics, they're the kind of people who want to look after others. And you are the embodiment of that. Like, you're also brash for your barbarian stuff and witty for your bard stuff, but you are caring to the core, Lynn.
Not brashness that's my barbarianism, you know.
No?
No, you actually hit the nail on the head with the care. It's love. It's protection, it's protective fury. That's why I fight. That's what I draw from.
But the blade of an axe isn't always the best tool to do that caring with, is it?
Indeed. Do you mind if...
Are you scared of me, Lynn?
And she'd gone to say something, just like slightly looking away as she was about to say something, and you say that, and she freezes slightly. Just faintly, just for a half second. As whatever she was about to say dies on her tongue, and she just goes, "Can we have this conversation somewhere else, please?"
Of course. Where do you... Got somewhere in mind? Home? Somewhere completely out of town? What do you need?
I don't want... Network already feels this, she knows, but island table wouldn't be a good idea. Do you mind if we have this on the hill?
Of course. Want a lift?
I think that's a good idea. I don't think the sketches are going to be great for walks right now.
All right.
And also, another thing you do know is you reached out your hand and she didn't take it.
Mm.
You can tell that she's still close. She didn't shy away, but she didn't take it. But she does reach now for you, and she is looking at your face, looking at your eyes. And there is a trust in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he'll scoop her up and make sure that he's holding onto her nice and firm, and then he'll take off and fly across town to the curly hill in the middle of the pumpkin patch, and gently set her down on the ground, and he'll immediately sit down because he's just so much taller than her. So he just sits and he looks over the orange field of pumpkins and sighs a little.
admit I'm not entirely sure where to start with all this. Every time I talk about this, it seems to be the same thing I say on that one.
I mean, you've only known me for a few months, so some backstory stuff you probably might not feel comfortable telling me, and I understand that.
If we're going to entertain this idea, then you should go into it aware of things. Okay, Yesik. And she does stop for a second. And then she actually stops and she casts dancing lights for a moment and just stares at that instead of staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna roll her a whiz for how well she's doing at the moment. Okay, honey.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 2 on the dice.
Oh, she's not doing so great.
No. Because that's a 6 in total. God bless her. But she does stare at the dancing lights, and then she actually goes into her pocket, not her hammer space, but her pocket, and pulls out some chill pills and takes one. And she just goes, let's circle around the topic, I guess, is a good way of doing it.
Whatever makes sense to you. All ears.
Really? I thought you were all pumpkin.
I could only be more all ears if I were corn. Just. Well, your wit still works.
It's a great defense.
Yeah, that's true.
More people are seeing through me nowadays, but I've still got the things I keep close to my chest. I do keep secrets, and I do lie. And I will continue to lie and tell secrets and deceive, even to you. But not right now. You are aware of how people can be influenced. Take your warlock, for example. You aren't the only influence on Gibbs.
No. No, I'm not. I would hesitate to say I'm any influence on Gibbs whatsoever, but that's beside the point. I get what you mean.
You've got a good influence on them.
Even with the seriousness of this conversation, that does make him blush a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And she does look at you slightly. She's not turned away. That's one of the things that's another thing of note. She never turns away. She always knows where someone is in a room. That's something you pick up from everything you've interacted with Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
She rarely ever turns her back to people. But she does just go, I have... If we were to do this, you would be the third influence on me.
I take it the other two aren't super positive influences from the way you're talking?
one of them is an incredible positive. One of them is someone I can't live without. And you see her gaze turn towards where you know Network is.
Ah. Yes, of course.
My heart and half. The reason I always keep coming home. And the other was sorry. They how and you don't have to roll insight because of how high it is. You can see her actually slightly choking on her words. And she even brings a hand up to her face for a moment as she stares off into the distance.
I think he's going to watch her struggle to get these words out, and he's going to make an assumption and then just sort of reach his hand down and very, very gently tap at the top of her cane.
Source of this?
Yeah. Second time I met them.
Are
I
they a
was
threat
17.
to you anymore? You were 17? They better be dead.
They are.
Good. Because if they weren't, they were going to be. Good gods.
They're gone. They're dead. They can't do anything. Well, they can't do any more. I
But
said
they've
before that
left their mark on you.
in more ways than one. But the the spooks, the spooks helped get me out of it. First time and second, my family got me out of when they took me.
Good. I'm glad.
But have you ever heard of Shady Deals?
I'm going to have to roll in my history for that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So history. Also a 9. That's an 18? I mean, Shady's been there a long time, so possibly?
Shady. I mean, straight up, Shady Deals has been there as long as anyone can recall. He doesn't know the internals, but he does know, yeah, that's where if shady business was going about, that would often be the source. If there were high genre things that were above rating that people couldn't discuss but did happen, some part of it would have come out from there.
I think he's not going to say a response necessarily. He's going to frown and give a small nod, but Lynn can tell just from his expression that he's not super familiar with it in any great detail, but he's heard of it and he's getting some implications, yeah.
And she does actually, it's a very brittle laugh, but she does laugh and just go, yeah. No one looks into it deeper. Even if they want to, even if they're good people.
I mean, it was out of my jurisdiction, to be fair.
Indeed. And out of sight, out of mind for most people on that front. But It's been around a very, very long time, longer than all of this.
Right. Okay. And you got tangled up in that.
I was someone trying to do good. I was a young detective. I was smarter than I am now. I had a lot of skills under my belt, had done a great deal of looking for people because people were going missing. People who weren't going to get another chance. People who were slipping through the cracks in the background and in danger. And they needed someone. And there was no one else.
So you put your head on the chopping block for them.
I, you'll note in recent times we've had something of a surge in detectives. Back then there wasn't a union. There wasn't a way to talk between detectives. There wasn't. We were very isolated by our narratives. And when I found out that there was a chance of, well, when I found out where the people were, I had a limited time frame. And if I didn't act then they'd be gone, and there was no one to contact. My mentor was away on his own case. Other detectives didn't really exist or couldn't contact. The police, as always, were we'll be there as soon as we can. They arrived in the fallout. Had to be me. And I did it. I got them all out. A marvel and a feat in and of itself. I went in there alone. And I won. And the moment I stepped foot in there, I should have known. I was never going to be free of them. Not when they'd noticed me.
So, when I offered you my power to take with you, that fear I saw wasn't of me. It was of them.
They superimposed themselves over me. And I'd like for you to roll me a persuasion real quick, Korvits.
Sure. Dirty 20.
Nice. She's half looking at you. And then she goes to her jumper and she does tuck away from you a minute as she very carefully moves stuff. And then she turns back slightly and yeah, with your passive perception, you can see the start of a bite mark. A single tooth that looks as though it would take up the length of your finger.
Forest lycanthropy.
Of a sort. They were like a wolf, but they weren't. They just liked lupine forms. It was something that amused them. Who was afraid of the big bad wolf, am I right? They were a thing of nightmares and terror. The thing. That was their first mark.
Really? There were others?
Several. And she taps the side of her head. And she just goes, there are some things up here I'm never going to get back. They hardwired a few things in, have someone for 5 years. I got away from them, but they never quite got their teeth out of me. And they did. Because of a lot of incidents, a lot of chaos, I ended up here. And much as they did everything they could in my head, all the nightmares, all of everything, I still found my way back. Oh, they hated that.
Good.
And when I got cured, and they were livid. They hated this town,
Oh, they don't sound like the kind of person who would appreciate what we do.
No. They were much more fond of the predecessor of this place, I suppose, but the light-hearted spooks, the scares, everything from your time and onwards, they hated it. They wanted it all destroyed. Monsters in the light, they were. So, when they came for me the second time, they thought they'd leave a message for the spooks, I guess. I mean, I've heard of a warm welcome, I guess, but setting fire to my home, that was definitely something.
Sounds like above everything, this person has no manners.
Yeah. And I want you to roll me another insight real quick.
It fell out. What is it with you and nines today, Korvits?
You know what? Have advantage, because I just rolled Lynn's deception, and yeah, she can only roll. At minimum, she can roll a 24 at the same time. I think you're gonna.
Well,
Yeah.
Is it still low?
Yeah.
Higher than a 35?
Nope. Korvits, she is looking at her home, and her house is sentient.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what pain to you feels like when something happens with your bonds. Yeah. They did that.
Oh, that's just not acceptable. Hurting you,
No.
hurting network, using network to get to you. Putting Jocks in harm's way, and don't care for that either.
They were going to kill her.
There is a distinct, angry sort of bird fluff noise as he bristles at that.
When they had me, they did a great deal, but when they pulled me back under, they said if I was loyal enough, I was good enough for them, if I served my purpose and re-earned my place, perhaps I'd get the privilege of a continued tether to her corpse.
Okay. He stands up.
I'll be right back. Give me just 1 sec.
Of course. By all means.
And he takes off. And he flies up really high into the dark sky until you can't see him anymore. Do you want to roll a perception?
Yeah. She's been standing up all this time. She actually sits down, just like braces her hands over her cane and puts it to her mouth, and she's looking up. She's watching.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 13 plus 12, 25.
25, okay. So, the bit that she only just catches is verbal. It's cursing. It's some good cursing, actually. Like, there is common, there is Grolix, there is infernal, and there is this enormous explosion of fire that spiders across the sky, flashing just for a moment. And then it goes out again. And Korvits slowly descends back down to the hill. Still steaming a little bit.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm alright. Where were we?
All right. You need me to stop talking on this?
Is getting this out, is getting this said, helping you? At all? Have you told anyone about this? To this detail?
This has been the closest I've ever been able to getting it out. Well, other parts of it, yes, but this part, like I said, they left their marks.
Yeah, so they did. And I don't blame you for being hesitant.
It's not full hesitance, I don't think. How thick are your gloves?
Um, At a guess, only like 3 mil. It's thin, Heather. It's soft.
Can you feel through them?
Oh, yeah.
Give me your hand a second.
He'll hold one out.
And she's got slightly gritted teeth as she's doing this, and she does take your hand. And I think she goes for like a knuckle and she guides it to her neck. And she's incredibly fluffy. Incredibly fluffy, but roll me perception.
Mm-hmm. 19.
19. It is almost missable. Very almost missable, but you do feel a slight change in the neck as she moves it. A very faint ridge. And you know, I'm also going to give you this because your hand is so close right now. Your hand is huge. As she's guided, I think she's guided the first finger. And so your thumb is like close to her cheek. And Korvits, you can see now that you're actually looking, now that you're close like this, she's got a scar that runs down her cheek close to her eye. The same size as your thumb. They left a lot of marks. A lot of reminders, a lot of hardwiring. And I'm never going to be clear of all of it. And their influence, even now that they're dead, is. I'm still learning it. I won't bore you with all the details. I'm not dumping all of that on you. Genuinely.
All of this happened before you brought me back.
All of this second stuff happened in a few hours. Worst few hours of my life. Well,
Sometimes a few
hell
hours is all it takes. I went down
indeed.
quick too. But what I mean is all of this happened before you brought me back. And I don't know if you're hiding it. Or if I just didn't see it. But those influences are not as obvious as you think they are.
Good.
Because even feeling this on your neck, this scar on your cheek, they're not you. And they will never be you. Because this is your cheek, this is your shoulder, this is your neck. It's not your heart. That's you. And I might not know you super well, but well enough to know that this heart in here is strong. I don't think there's anything that can change that. Not a thing, not me, not anything.
Thank you. And as you've been talking, she had shied away from the hand again. But she does look up at you, and it is appreciative. This heart's been through a lot. Both sides of it. I don't know what I am anymore. And I'm still learning why they wanted me, but I've got quite a few ideas. It was very useful to them. They didn't kill me, for one thing. They up in a few conversations recently. I don't actually quite know why I'm still alive, but I've got a few ideas on it.
Look, sometimes it's better not to look a gift horse in the mouth. I appreciate that you're still alive. Quite a lot.
Yes, it's honestly quite damn useful that I'm alive. But I've got an idea or two on why. But not necessarily the point. What if I do become your cleric? I'm going to put it here and now. I am never going to bring you greatness. I'm not going to be an emissary again. And I will not be sorry, I will never be powerful. And I do not want to be. I don't think that's what you want from me either. I just want to say that.
I didn't offer you this because I wanted anything out of it, Lynn. This is not me asking of you. It's me offering what I have, what I am to you. Not the other way around. That's the way this will be, the way that I want this to be with you, with Gibbs, with anyone else who I decide I want to give my magic to. This is not asking for anything in return, except the knowledge that I'm helping you a little. And even if you say no, you do so much. You bring glory to Halloween because you're one of us. And that's enough for me. I don't want you to think less of yourself. Okay?
Okay. Okay. And you don't mind being influence number 3?
It's not the quantity, it's the quality. And quite frankly, I can't compete with Network. I could not compete with Network, even if I tried for a million years. She's your heart and your hearth. And you're her flame.
I am her warmth bringer. Proud of that.
Cold hearth is a very lonely thing. Network needs her fire. And her fire needs a home. I can't compete with that and I don't want to. All I want to do is help this little fire burn as bright and vibrant and warm as she can. That's what I want.
think I can get behind that.
And like you said before, this cleric business is like a knock at the door. If it makes you uncomfortable, you just close the door. You don't need to let it in. It's up to you.
And she leans back from where she'd started sitting down earlier, and she looks at you and she smiles. And she does seem to be coming to decisions as she's looking at you, and you can tell she is looking at you and seeing you. I do warn I will keep secrets from you.
That's fine. I expect you to. Some things I don't need to know. I don't need to know what the detective gets up to. Not my business.
If there are other things I keep from you that you need to know, I will tell you when the time is right.
I'm sure you will. You're smarter now than you were then. Not the other way around.
I've got more experience.
It accounts for a surprising amount. Yes. Yes.
Hey. I've got a few more skills. I mean, like you once said, vicious mockery, insulting people. Called someone a knob recently and it did them damage.
See, you're doing me proud. Absolutely fantastic. I love it.
So, you know what? Following Jacques' footsteps a bit. Try and follow in Asclepius's as well. Might as well follow in a raven spook as well. And she extends her right hand towards you.
Then he'll smile and he'll reach his hand down and he'll actually stop and then he'll pull off his glove. And I don't know that Lena's seen him take his gloves off before. But underneath those thin leather gloves, he has skeletal hands quite like Jacques, except his are covered in scorch marks. Like, he's a claymation Hausen, but it's like the clay itself has been burnt in several patches along his fingers and along the where his palm would be if he had muscles. But there's these scorch marks and you can't see the wireframe through them, but they look like a permanent design thing. But he extends his hand so that she can make proper contact.
I think she's going to do the same. She looks at that, nods, and then she just goes, this is going to take a sec. It's not quite working today. And she does look at his hand, and she is thinking of the smell of wood smoke that she got back when they were in the place in Long Live the Pumpkin King, or Long Live the King. And she does take off her glove. She is looking, it's the kind of expression of someone who wants to ask a story but also doesn't want to force the hand. As she's taking off her glove.
He's just going to sit there and patiently wait, watching her, making sure she doesn't seem like she's in too much pain.
Surprisingly, it looks as though it's less pain and more manipulation. Korvits, you kind of get the feeling she can't feel this hand.
Mm-hmm.
As she pulls off the thing, and, yeah. Tell you what, I'm curious about his hand. Would he like to roll medicine on hers while she rolls investigation on his?
Sure. What's your medicine? Do you have Oh, yeah, okay. You do have medicine. You're not proficient in it, but you have it.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Nice. Hang on. Hang on. Wait. Okay, that's actually amusing. We both got 27s.
Hey! Wonderful. Great. Cool. I love that.
God's almighty. We love to see it.
Well, I mean, they're both putting equal amounts of themselves on display, so makes sense.
Indeed. Thing with how he's looking at hers, the very tips of the fingers are ever so slightly translucent. And he can see the way that from her hand it tapers to a silvery, papery, papyrusy colour as it goes from the silver of the silver grey of the forefingers, the very edges, back to a sepia as it joins the hand, along to eventually becoming a gold as it disappears underneath her jumper. But yeah, this is mold. This is the worst of her sketches on display here, and that hand doesn't fully straighten anymore. Not without the glove. Whatever did that absolutely worked to leave their mark. And in fact, with that mark, with that higher roll, the exact claw shape seems the perfect size to be clutching around her brooch.
Oh, he hates that. He hates that. And also, like, he's a Hausen. He doesn't really have ink.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he's like, oh, fuck. She's lost part of her color, like her cell, because she's a Worn, right? So she's done on animation cells. Literally, part of her cell has been ripped off. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna roll you a deception. I am going to roll you a deception where your dice stays in the fucking tower.
I'm going to roll insight. That is a nat 20. Jesus fuck. God, she actually beats it. She actually beats it. Even if we didn't go nat, she beats it.
Great, okay, cool. Yeah, because she's got a plus, what, 6?
Plus 6 at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, no, when she looks up from inspecting his hand, which I'll give you in a sec, she can see him looking at her hand, and the understanding of that injury is clear on his face, and he's trying to be calm, because right now is not about that. That is not what this interaction is about, but he's seen it, he's comprehended it, and he hates it. Like, it's just added another tally to the list of all of the things he hates about this person that Lynn has just told him about.
Mm-hmm.
But he's working really hard because it's not what this is about. Yes, she got fucked up, but that's not why they're here. And he's trying so hard.
She is grateful that she has not said the other hypothesis she has about shady deals, and she is never going to say it to him.
may set some things on fire.
That place is being left to be, dead in peace.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's address your 27 on looking at his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, his hand is skeletal like Jacques. It's a little bigger than Jacques' actually, because he is overall a bit bigger than Jacques, and he's bulky. Like, he's a skeleton, but he's a bulkier skeleton than Jacques' is quite thin, sort of spider-like qualities.
His wiry frame.
They're thousands. They all have a wire frame. You're a shit.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's very similar in style. It's made out of the same clay. You assume it's got a wireframe under the fingers, and like there's no frame on display. It's not the same as Lynn's sketch being visible on her fingers. The damage is burnt. It's while he's a claymation. Like, that kind of clay they use isn't a hard clay. It's not a fired clay, whereas so it doesn't really resist burning. It doesn't just ash. This is burnt in a very odd way, almost like a paper clay where it's been burnt, but it hasn't burnt through. It's got like divots, like some material has been burnt away, but the rest of his fingers are very stark white. So, like, there's no ash clinging to his fingers. There's just those rings, like, they're not quite round, but those burn shapes in his fingers stop very abruptly. There's no hint that the flame touched anywhere else on his fingers. And he doesn't seem to be in pain. He doesn't seem to have lost any movement. Even though there are a few burn marks near his joints, doesn't seem to impede on them at all. It almost seems like it's just a visual thing more than anything else. But also, I'll give this to you because not so much. Oh, actually, you rolled an investigation, so that's fine. Lynn knows a lot about his history. And he was saying before that this is the outfit he would wear in his royal courts. But this kind of burns isn't visible on the gloves. It's not visible through any of his clothes. His clothes are tatty, but not burnt. So it's not really clear why he covers these burns with his gloves, rather, or where the fire came from if his clothes aren't damaged. And she doesn't get the vibe that it's because he's just changed his clothes. There's something else.
Internally, she's almost thinking it's something from within. Or it's how something's manifested, like a resistance or something. But how it catalyzed, how it initialized, she doesn't know. And she does give the expression of someone who wants to know the story, but again, it takes a lot of trust in Lynn for her not to push and pull and tear into something and bring something out into the light when she wants it. She is a very good huntress. She doesn't. She just gives the look. And it is a look that says, in his time, he can share his stories. As for all he's heard hers, she is interested in return.
I think he's not going to say anything, but as they've sort of spent some time just looking at each other's hands, he's going to just move his a little bit closer and give her a very trusting and friendly smile. Like, he's been able to put things on because he's a politician, technically speaking. But this is genuine. This is him. This is not the Pumpkin King. This is Korvits. And Lynn. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. They're both leaders in their own right. He had a kingdom. She has her network that spans Ankwell and slightly beyond. They have their influences and their power, their domains. But is equal footing. And he does see her look back, and for all he's seen her, he knows that she puts on fronts. He's outright said it, but you don't realize how much fear someone's always holding until you see it put to one side and trust. And she smiles back, and then she does reach her hand forward. And after just a microsecond of not quite hesitation, but showing that she's ready to do it, she takes his hand.
His smile will grow a little bit, and he'll curl his thin, long fingers around just to put the fingertips on the back of her hand, and just put a little bit of pressure on her hand, just a tiniest little squeeze.
Last chance to back out?
It's worth it with you.
Well,
I'll be. I want this.
well then, let's see how we do.
And her hand is numb, but she can see this sort of brightening of the glow in his mouth and eyes, and it almost seems like there's a little bit of a glow inside his shirt somewhere too. And then maybe it's an imaginary warmth, but it trickles out of his fingers and through her hand and down her arm. And it's like putting a jumper on straight out of the dryer. This nice, comforting warmth. And she can feel him. Not through her hand exactly, but there. It's not like network. It's not the same as the kind of echo that she can get through network of Rye. It's more to the left, like a little candle flame.
He sees her expression change to one of slight wonder, and then a very, very happy squint. It is a look of utter contentment as she squints. And it's not like the thing. It's not like when a great power overtook her, where it was overwhelming, ever-present chains at the back of her mind. It's not cold, it's warm, and she's still herself. She's still her own creation. She is still her. But this additional influence, she thinks she likes it.
And Korvits as well she can see his smile grow, and his other hand comes up and rests on his chest. He hasn't said anything, but he can feel it too. She can tell.
And there is just a brief thing, just for a second, of just, as her eye unsquints slightly, Korvits can notice a slight detail change. Just a slight one. But she unsquints slightly, she already had flecks of pumpkin orange from her own magic in there, flecks of gold. There's an ever so slight growing tint from the bottom. A pumpkin orange edge to the brown.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And then she just smiles and goes, "First cleric of Allhallows." I like the sound of that.
Well, I don't know how many I'll have, but if I have more, I know that you'll be able to teach them the ropes. Won't be anyone better.
It'd be an honor. Welcome in, Korvits.
Thank you for having me.
And as this is settling in place, do we want to do the other thing that's happening on this sign?
Oh yes, please.
There is a moment of just as it settles in her chest. You do notice, Korvits, of all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
the gold in her eye seems to just get a little brighter for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then it does it again, almost like a candle flickering and growing.
I think he's gonna lean down a little bit and squint.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Your eyes are doing this weird flickering thing. I mean, they got some orange in there now. Ha! But that's not what's flickering. There's some yellow, gold flickering happening.
Good thing. I mean, I feel great. I feel better than great, honestly. This is
Good, an improvement. Cool. I'm glad for that.
And Korvits, you've seen cats do silly eyes.
Yes.
Her people suddenly just do that, and she's like, "Holy pick! Hi, hi. Right, okay, okay." And she slightly leans forward into you, just like, "Hold on a second. Holy pick! What? Okay. Oh, okay. That's happening now. Okay."
Is this my fault? Did I fuck this up somehow?
Good thing. We've been kind of wanting a power surge for quite a while. She's been building up the energy, and she's been getting angry that it hasn't been happening. Holy pick now! And she's like slightly leaning into you, just absolutely. You can tell this is like you haven't seen her on a full sugar rush before, but oh god, it looks as though she's like holding still from sugar rush. Korvits, with how she is holding on to you, can see she is ever so slightly actually glowing.
Oh my gosh. I think Korvits he's got like one hand on her to help stabilize her, and then he's just sort of thinking about it. And then he face palms again, and he's just like,
power surge, you say? Like a new thing with a gun? That's a power surge. It's going straight through you to network. Oh, shit. Okay, you're sure this is a good thing?
Well, it's a bit too late to back down now, and she is literally humming.
I mean, yes, you're correct. You are glowing. You are visibly glowing. Shit. Okay, so what did network need a power surge for? Exactly?
I think she's eating a building.
What? Okay,
And
we should be able to see her from here. Surely. Hold on. Let's go up. Yeah. Let's go up.
You.
And he's just gonna pick her up and fly up so that he can get the vantage point to be able to see where network is.
You don't even need to. You turn around as you've scooped her up, and Lynn is literally vibrating against you. She feels warm. She feels as though she's just come out of the tumble dryer, honestly. And you turn, and you can see basically a beacon.
Holy shit! Well, okay, I can see network from here. Wowza! Okay, hopefully all of your neighbors own sunglasses. Should we go that way?
If you don't go, I'm gonna go. And she's like bracing like a cat who's about to bolt.
I'm going, I am going, I'm gone!
And he's just gonna take off. And in fact, he's going to dash, so he's going at 60 feet through the air, so he doesn't have to go around buildings or anything.
You are getting a long strider slapped to your chest, so yeah,
Nice.
extra pumpkin spice. And that building do be glowing. That building, you know what network looks like. You've flown over, you've been around before. You can't see network.
Yeah.
Oh, glow.
Yeah, they can, however, see Haddy and Rye on the street, on the other side of the street, with both red, gold, and blue Grawlix just filling the air around them. Because, what the fuck? This came completely out of left field.
Yeah. There's probably Craigery and Matthias around the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Just been ferried out so you don't have the utter what if the fucketh.
Yeah.
And they do get there, and Korvits, it is basically the equivalent of a cat in your arms. It's just the moment you get close to the ground, she leapy. She boing.
No, but he's not going to try and hold on to it. He's just going to let go and put his hands up in a whoop, nope.
No, okay, go ahead, be my guest.
With a distant, pum pum, what the peck?
And yeah, she doesn't straight up respond. She is honestly, she is humming. And Rye can tell it's network speech, but it is a type of network speech that transcends even what he knows.
Mm-hmm.
This is the original script of it. As she is just laughing with that undercurrent of that, and her eyes are completely gold. The pupils are just gone. It is just all bright golden iris that is actually just slightly extending out. And she just laughs, just like, there you are, sweetheart. Look at you. Want to bring her? And she extends her hand towards Rye. Just, come on up, eh? We want you here with us.
Rye he'll trot over and he'll take her hand. Mom, what? I cannot physically look at network right now. What is going on?
Look in, Warmthbringer.
He will attempt to do that. He's got his eyes, like, he's squinting because network is so bright right now.
Yeah.
Like, at least it's gold light rather than white light, but it's still a lot of light.
Yeah. Inside is probably absolute white hell as it restructures itself.
Yeah.
I'd like Rye to roll insight on himself with advantage if needed.
Okay, I did not grab his character sheet. Let me just open it really quick.
Yes.
I knew this was happening and I did not prepare because I am a tiny fool. Rise D20. Alright, we're off to a good start. Insight. Where is your... Okay. $22.
With a 22, Rye, your chest feels warm. There is that flicker behind your heart that is network, is so warm, and you can feel the joy and the happiness and the delight. And while you can't see through this design, as you're focusing, you can hear it a little better, and Network is singing. You can just straight up hear that, this sheer, utter joy as this energy is flowing through the bonds, and she is singing. And as you look at Lynn, you get the distinct feeling it's not just Lynn in Lynn's form. Especially with how she's been using we.
Ryan's link with Network is nowhere near as strong as Lynn's, and so he's not kind of getting the same effect. But his eyes are definitely blue, 100%, but they've got this little gold rim around the outside. And he starts to bounce on his feet a little bit, and he doesn't really want to hurt his eyes by looking, but at the same time he does kind of want to look, and he just sort of squints at this mass of glow. When do we get to see it? When do we get to see it?
Well, all starts with the first step. Hey, little Ryabars.
Then let's take that step together, yeah?
Always. And Lynn and Network loop their arm around Rye's shoulders as they make their way forward. Two forms, three minds. As they step up to it, and they get to that first... Network didn't have a first step before. It was straight to the door, but as they get close, right, it doesn't hurt to look. It's solid gold. It takes up all your vision, but it doesn't hurt. It's like looking at home, not at pain. And as you both take that first step, you feel this amorphous golden light coalesce under your feet as it becomes the first step of a porch. And the next step, and the next step, until you're standing on a porch. And everything's slowly coming into being around you. You can see pillars, you think, just behind you now that you're standing on this porch. And everything's starting to take a bit more detail in. And you're standing where a door should be, and the being next to you looks down at you and smiles and goes, "Together?"
Always.
And as you reach your hands out towards the door, the gold finally starts flashing away and taking a solid, true form of a building a bit more Halloween Town vibed, a bit more linked. Home.
Rye is distinctly squealing, like Haddy can hear it easy as day, but Korvits and probably Gregory and Matthias can also, from where they are, they can just hear Rye squeal with delight as this comes into being. And I'm just putting your beautiful, wonderful GIF into my OBS.
It all coalesces into this very, I think you're best at describing the building because you know building terminology, but there is just there are pumpkins around you, including 2 little flame torches that have come either side of the door, just as the last second, a little extra burst. You know, little candle glows.
Yeah, network is no longer that sort of square, very yellow building. She's got 2, I want to say bay windows. You say I know building terminology. I kind of don't. But like these 2 curved banks of windows at the front, a front porch that is holding up a balcony on the 2nd floor. There's window boxes and a tower at the rear.
Yeah.
And a sloped roof. There's no longer a roof terrace. It's a sloped tiled roof with black slate tiles. But still the same etched glass on the front door panel and a familiar door knocker now. And the glow comes through the windows, that vibrant yellow, and a flag. And a lovely little puff of smoke coming from the chimney, which is also new.
And Lynn does close her eyes at that as it all comes into place. And what Rye won't get, but Lynn now innately knows, is the entire internal floor plan is basically flowing into her mind as it finishes conceptualizing, finishes taking form. And she smiles with utter pride.
Rye is going to squeal, and he's kind of going to pull the Lynn/Network hand that he's holding over to the door handle so that they can turn it and open it together, because he wants to go and see inside. He wants to look. He wants to explore. He doesn't get the floor plan downloaded into his brain. He has to do it manually.
And they both laugh, and the door does swing open under their hands as they're just... Rye is free to go and explore, because there is everything all of the time. Holy pick, everything's new.
Yep, he's gone. He is off. He's excited as hell. In the meantime, Lynn, and if Network is still in there and using Lynn's perception, then Network as well, can hear Haddy giving Korvits a hard time on the street. Because while Haddy is blind, there was so much magic, and as a magic user, he couldn't ignore that. Like, so he's just giving Korvits a hard time. Like, what the pick did you do? What is going on?
Look, okay, it's not... Okay, so it probably is my fault. There's kind of like a power surge thing. Network's had a redesign. It's fine. That's right, you're blind. That's okay, you can't see it. But, like, seriously, this is a good thing. It's fine.
Already! In the middle of the picking night! You're waking everyone up with what you're doing. How did you go about doing this exactly?
Look, maybe you should talk to Lynn. I think she maybe should tell you things. Yeah.
And, Haddy, as this is going on, you do feel a slight warm breeze behind you, and then there's your cousin just wrapping her arms around your shoulder, and God, she is warm. She is warm and soft and bright, and she is still humming with utter delighted amusement that seems to be seeping through her entire form. Haddy of ours. Fine. Come inside, eh? We'll explain later. Come see.
Damn well better explain, because they scared the shit out of me, Pom Pom. You do not just get random surges of magic in the middle of the night. That just...
Apparently we do. Come on.
Picking apparently!
Come on!
Right,
And-
I'm coming. Pick.
And she's tugging Haddy, but she does look back up at you, Korvits. And they smile at you.
Sounds to me like you have your evening planned. Once you've calmed down, the both of you, let's hang out again. We can do a little bit of experimentation on our new setup. And have a chat. Chats are always fun, but I'll leave you to it. You've got people to organize and things to do and all that good stuff, but you know where to find me. Whenever you want.
Always. And they give a grin at you. This absolute Network and Lynn beaming smile. Quite literally beaming. There is that flicker of candlelight of this jack-o'-lantern monkey edged with gold inside, just smiling at you before she turns around and oh my god, if you thought she was moving before, this is a comet streaking inside.
I think Korvits is just going to wait until they're inside, and then he's just going to sort of lean back in his own space a little bit and just grin.
I'll catch you later, Candleglow. We got a lot of good things ahead of us, I think.
And with that, he's going to take off into the sky.
And the flag on the very top of the turret tower does anthropomorphize it. It almost waves goodbye. Gods. Oh, that was wonderful.
We had ups, we had downs, we had sideways. We had it all here, folks.
We had a tornado.
Oh, I love that. Networks had her redesign. Yay.
Network had her redesign. Network has a guest room again.
Yay.
It's a building. Network has a building. Network's been wanting to eat a building for months and months. And now she's got to do it.
Oh, boy. And
Which-
now Lynn gets to be a cleric. This is so cool. Oh,
Indeed.
well, I feel like this was a great indulgence on both of our halves, but I had a wonderful time.
Absolutely. This was the height of indulgence, the height of indecadence.
Superb.
We loved it. Although this is going to be fun to explain to other people, just like, hi! Network at your building in the middle of the night. Have fun.
Yes. Oh, man. And Rye is going to be on a sugar high for like the next week, probably.
Yep. Eventually the glow is just going to die down, and then you just got Lynn. Pure Lynn energy. Energy.
Wonderful. All right. Well,
Reminding us this is going to be a chore because already have energy.
yes. Oh, dear. All right. Well, I suppose we should say goodbye to our audience. Oh, dear.
Indeed. Well, it's been wonderful. I hope you all have fun. Ha ha ha.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.